All right, so we got the Heresy Crusade versus I can't even versus modern space versus modern space marines. Let's get right into it, man.
G'day.
Oh, make sure you guys follow my Twitch down below. Let's get right into it. Let's go.
Guys and gal, over the last 10,000 years, Space Marines have changed quite a lot. The Marines of the Great Crusade era would not find a whole lot of common ground with modern-day Primaris or even Firstborn Marines. The galaxy's changed.
Yo, this is kind of like the it's kind of like the 90s versus 2000s like NBA's players. Like that's what I think.
It's not just a glorious Crusade or Space Marine versus Space Marine anymore. But putting aside their era and stylistic differences, which era of Space Marine is objectively better? Is it the ancient Astartes, whose gene seed was fresh from the living Emperor's laboratories, charging into battle alongside their Primarchs? Or is it the modern generation with their more advanced war gear and training?
Okay, so whatever one has Vulcan like a part of it, that's the one that's the best. That's the best one. I can't lie to you. Like that class, cause like bro, they got LeBron, they got Steph Curry in that class. They got Kevin Durant. Yeah. Whatever one, because obviously Vulcan's LeBron James. And like Fulgrim, he's like Kyrie Irving. Like he's so skilled and stuff like that. Yo, whatever one has Vulcan in it, that's the best.
It makes for an interesting question that today we will answer. Before we get started, we are less than 10k from hitting 500,000. That feels wild to say.
Wowzers.
Why should you give a shit, I hear you ask? Well, firstly, I'm gonna get a Warhammer tattoo and I'll film and post the process.
Oh,
Let's
nice.
see how tough I really am getting inked and we'll have a laugh about it.
Nice.
I'll also be doing a huge 500k drunk stream and we know how silly those get. On top of it all, the 500k merch drop is the best one by far. I can't show the products yet, but it includes with the modern day ones to determine which breed of autistic limp dick super soldiers is superior.
Oh, wow.
Now let's get into it.
Let's get into it. Let's go. Got a lot of videos today, y'all.
Before we can determine which is better, we need to look at how they are actually different. Although all Space Marines have a lot of similarities, especially Firstborn and the ones from the Crusade and Heresy era, there are a few key differences. The gene seed has mutated and been experimented on in the last 10,000 years, creating unique successor chapters like the Black Dragons or the Space Sharks. Some gene seed has changed so much that you wouldn't even be able to recognize which founding chapter that successor was created from. After all, the Mortificators, the Cannibal Necrophiliacs, are Ultramarine stock. In a lot of cases, the gene seed is actually degraded. Thousands of years of gene seed.
I mean, that makes sense though. Like, if you have like the peak of like your gene seed, right? Bro, I sound like a nerd when I just said that, but it is what it is. I'll take it. Like, I would imagine like as soon as the gene seed started, whatever, and you got like these just. Here's what I was saying. Here's what I say. And this is why I think like the 90s versus 2000 NBA like type of like example is the best, because like obviously like the 90s players, I would say that they're way more tougher, right? And I would say that like the start of like the Space Marines or whatever, like the guys like back in the day, whatever, I would say that they were probably like way more tougher because like obviously like that was like I guess that was like the peak of it because they were like the first ones. You get what I'm saying? Obviously nowadays we got like a whole lot of like, you know, modified like, you know, type of like, you know, Space Marines and stuff like that went through like countless different like modifications and stuff like that to try to make the gene seed strong. But in reality, like the natural most like strongest like peak that it had was at the beginning because, you know, that was like the first one. And then like obviously like, you know, gen after gen after gen after gen, it kept getting, I don't want to say it kept getting worse, but like it kept having like, you know, modifications and stuff like that. And you know, I don't want to put down like the current like, you know, state of Space Marines because they can still like, you know, light my house up. But at the end of the day, like you get what I'm saying? Like it's like the modifications of it. Like obviously like the natural one is probably like the strongest in my opinion, but we'll see about it.
Being removed and reinserted into new Space Marines, combined with the original minds behind the Astartes project being dead and Primarchs no longer being around, well at least not until recently, has resulted in a quality decline for gene seed. For example, the Imperial Fist can no longer spit acid, as their Betcher's gland is no longer functional. This is one of the few examples of gene seed degradation. The creation of the Primaris Marines has mostly fixed this. The quality of that gene seed is fucking mint, and even comes with a few extra goodies to make Primaris bigger, faster, and stronger than their Crusade era counterparts. I know this as the Marines Corvus Corax created using the Primarch project blueprint were more or less proto-Primaris, and they were able to whoop experienced Heresy Marines with ease. So in terms of physical difference, the Crusade and Heresy era Space Marines had higher quality gene seed than their modern firstborn counterparts.
That makes sense.
However, the modern Primaris had equivalent quality, if not slightly better due to the extra organs. But physical advantages are probably the smallest piece of the pie in this comparison. Gabriel Seth beat the shit out of an uppity, whiny Primaris without breaking a sweat, and Primaris had a very high casualty rate when they first entered the setting due to their lack of experience. But what about the training? How has that changed in the last 10,000 years, and is it better or worse? Well, what fucked a lot of Space Marines during the Heresy is their complete lack of preparation in dealing with other Space Marines or demons. They had trained to kill inferior Xeno races, not Astartes, demons, Necrons.
So basically, like, their level of competition wasn't really that good, basically. Because if your level of competition is bad, at that point, whenever you actually go against like somebody who's actually like comp or whatever, my bad, I gotta get like a back scratcher. Oh my goodness. But yeah, it's like right here, yo. I can't even stretch that's how bulky I am. I can't even stretch my arms. But yo, listen, if your competition's weak, whenever you go like up against actual competition, you get absolutely smashed because like you're not leveling up. You can't like level up against like easy competition. So when these guys are like, just going crazy in like the training room or whatever, that's really not nothing. They got to go up against like, like the actual like professionals. They got to go against like the actual comp, if you get what I'm saying. So that actually makes sense why they, like while they're getting mollywopped by actual competition, because like their normal comp isn't really nothing, respectfully, because I don't want a bunch of, termites running through the house.
Or Tyranids. Ultramarines had to figure out mid-battle that blades and fire were more effective than bolt guns against demons. Many traitor legions didn't actually intend on becoming demonic fleshlights, but that just kind of happened due to their ignorance of what the fuck they were doing. These days, Space Marines are drilled heavily on killing other Space Marines. Their training also includes a lot of mental fortitude against chaos, as well as a wider array of tactics for a wider variety of situations. The Marines of the Crusade and Heresy era acted as an army, whereas the smaller modern-day chapters act as elite kill teams or decapitating strike forces. Modern Marines also go through way more psycho-indoctrination to ensure loyalty and obedience. However, this does create an unfortunate side effect of making modern Marines less interesting than their Heresy era counterparts. If you read the Horus Heresy, the Marines joke, argue, and banter like brothers. Everyone is very passionate about things, and everyone has very big personalities. Post-Heresy, this was identified as a flaw and weakness by the Imperium, as it was partially the reason why so many fell to chaos. Hence, modern training attempts to crush personalities, with most characters now needing to experience a lot of shit that shapes their character, rather than just being fun and interesting from the start. The best example of this is Cato Sicarius. But hey, it is...
I mean, bro, this is Warhammer, bro. Nobody in here got a personality. Nobody, bro. And if you do got a personality, bro, you're a damn school threat, bro. We need to check your book bag immediately, bro. Like the only personality that actually pops out are actual menaces, bro. Are like Frieza-like characters, bro. People who just, bro, destroy worlds within an instant. Like, that's your personality. That's like a villain type of personality. I've never in my entire existence ever even heard of like a person or like a funny or like a charismatic person in Warhammer. If you're that guy, step up to the plate. Because I'm going to be honest with you, bro. Everybody in Warhammer is just straight crash outs. I haven't heard of one person that, that actually had like somewhat bro, nobody even smiles. Bro, nobody even like laughs up over here, bro. Like, bro, nobody smiles up in this series. What are we talking? Bro, if any of you guys have like a character, whatever, like, that's actually like, Kevin Hart worthy, like someone that's actually funny or whatever, bro, send them to me. I'll make a video on them. I promise you, because for the last 5 to 6 months, me just diving into Warhammer, it's just straight anger, depression, menace, school threats, what else? Explosions, world, catastrophes, bro. Every bad thing, every 3-syllable bad word you can think of, that's Warhammer. I haven't heard of any, funny, great character in here, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. I might be the first one.
Effective for preventing people from joining Chaos. The vast majority of Chaos Astartes are either Marines from the Heresy who survived, or people that were recruited using their gene seed. Not many...
Oh, I'm so... Wait. Vulcan's... Vulcan is the... Wow, yo, I'm sorry, my sweet, glorious King Vulcan. Let me bow down to you right now, bro. I'm so... Yo, I forgot Vulcan was like the... He's like the actual, like... normal one. Vulcan is the only normal character in Warhammer. Bro, even the Emperor's a crash out. Even he's a crash dummy. Vulcan, bro, he's the most just perfect. Wow, bro, he's made, bro, Vulcan, bro, he got, yo, butterflies are just in my stomach right now.
You loyalist Marines fall to Chaos. It's hard to tell if this personality or attitude change makes Marines better or worse. On one hand, passion often leads Marines to doing badass shit and killing a lot of people. On the other hand, it often leads to them being killed. There is a moment in recent lore where a word bearer from the Heresy is fighting a Primaris, and he is complaining that fighting the Primaris is so cold and boring, and that he preferred the passion and glory of the ancient days.
Oh wow.
When everyone was really up in each other's shit and took everything personally. He then kills the Primaris, however he was an elite in Terminator armor, and the Primaris had just killed a different word bearer Terminator, so I wouldn't really use that as a Heresy era is better than modern example. Overall, I would say that in terms of training and psycho-indoctrination, the modern Marines are much better equipped to deal with the galaxy than the Crusade Heresy Marines. They have trained to fight Chaos for 10,000 years, and they know what works and what doesn't work. During the Heresy, a Primarch could only really be stopped or taken down by another Primarch. But in the modern era, the Loyalist Marines were able to stop or even banish the traitor Primarchs on multiple occasions without a Loyalist Primarch. That wouldn't even be conceivable during the Heresy. They have been able to keep Chaos at bay for 10,000 years before the return of Guilliman, despite Chaos having Lorgar, Perturabo, Fulgrim, Angron, and Magnus. But what about individual characters? After all, Sigismund was a beast, Abaddon is a Crusade Heresy era Marine, Sharakin was a legend, Khorne is a monster in the battlefield, and Corswain kicked ass. Just a few examples of god-tier space marines from the ancient era. How did the legends of old compare to modern day named characters? Not that well, to be honest. Sigismund was the greatest swordsman of his time, but his time has moved on. Although he would still be able to beat 99.9% of space marines in the current setting, there are those, like Logan Grimnar, Asterion Malok, or Tybros the Red Wake, who could probably kick his ass. When Abaddon fought Manius Calgar, he only really won because his sword was overpowered as fuck and could cut through Manius's weapon. This was a prime uber-powered Chaos Abaddon with a Mega Demon sword. I reckon Logan or even Primaris Dante could take Abaddon's head in a duel, and Abaddon was considered to be the mightiest space marine of the Crusade and Heresy, before he got juiced on Chaos or got given really high level gear. A better example might be Lucius. He was one of the greatest swordsmen of the Heresy, not the greatest as evident by
Yo, no, I'm not Brad Pitt, but this is a catastrophe right here, yo. Respectfully, bro, and I don't want you to, listen. I don't want to be asleep one day and I hear it with the you start, flapping your tongue. I'm like, yo, what's that wet stuff? What's going on? What's going on? What's that wet stuff? I wake up, all I see is your tongue out. You looking like Diddy's 8.0. Listen, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, bro. Respectfully, bro, if I ever see this catastrophe on the street, bro, I'm calling Batman, I'm calling Superman, I'm calling every DC, bro, I'm even calling the Avengers, bro. Man, I'll make my own crossover movie. I'm calling everybody, bro. He has to be dealt with immediately.
I reckon fucking him up, but easily in the top 5.
Yo, look at they tongue.
However, despite having 10,000 years of experience and Slaanesh sucking him off, he's been killed many times, often in fair duels. He wouldn't be able to compare to the likes of Logan. During the Heresy, even the best space marines were insects compared to the Primarchs. Khorne got backhand swatted by Rogal as if he was nothing. Sigismund got a few hits off on Fulgrim in a surprise attack, but then he was beaten down.
Cleaned
Compare
up.
that to Logan, who was able to smack Magnus with his Khornite axe and help banish him, or Kaldor Drago holding off
Bro thought he was Thor.
or Tyrion long enough to learn his true name and beat him, then the distinction becomes quite noticeable. Overall, it's like comparing MMA 20 years ago to the MMA of today. The game has changed. People have learnt new things and new ways to shut down styles that were previously considered to be unbeatable. How about the war gear? How much has changed since the Marines walked around in Crusade or maximum plate till now? Quite a lot, but not as much as you would expect in a 10,000 year period. The fundamentals are the same: power armor made of ceramite, bolt guns, plasma guns, and melter guns as specialists, heavy cataphracti armor versus Terminator and Gravis armor. If we were comparing modern gear to Crusade, Ion, or even Maximus plate, then it's a no context. The Aquila and Primaris plate is superior in every way, most notably in terms of agility and movability. So instead, let's focus on Heresy and Corvus patterns, the two patterns that were most common for the time. Although the Corvus armor had a few tactical advantages to its previous iterations and was more maneuverable, it still doesn't really hold a candle to Aquila, Errant, or Primaris Mark X plate. Heresy plate was also literally just armor taken from the previous iterations bolted together with power studs due to a massive supply shortage on both sides of the war. Mark X plate is also a leap and bound greater than Aquila, as it removes a lot of the classic weak points.
Wait. Whoa, is that fire?
Such as the mouth grill, as well as allows for much greater flexibility. Cataphracti armor turned a Heresy Marine into a walking tank, but also made them slow as shit. They would be significantly easier picking for the modern day Marines who have deadlier firepower. Compare that to the Terminator plate or the new Gravis armor, and the Cataphracti doesn't stand a chance. In terms of fire output, not a crazy amount has changed in 10,000 years. Bolt guns still fire explosive rounds. However, modern Marines have access to a massive variety of different ammo types, including armor piercing, Dragon's Breath, Kraken bolts, Vengeance bolts, Hellfire bolts. I don't really know what half of those do, but they sound nasty as fuck. The guns themselves have also changed. Modern bolt guns have greater stopping power, longer range, better accuracy.
Yo, does those bolt guns really work? Like, listen, maybe it's just me, but like, I did watch that that Hellreach movie and stuff like that. Well, I watched it like parts and stuff, bro. Like, I can't lie to you. I'm not gonna sit here and act like those bolt guns are not gonna work, bro. First of all, like, yo, what is the bolt guns like? What's the material and like the ammunition? Like, bro, there's no shot. They're just firing just regular, like, you know, bullets at these like tanks or whatever. Like, yo, I don't know. Maybe I just like, maybe like I'm coming from like a place of ignorance, but like at first I thought like those bolt guns didn't work. I'm just keeping it, especially if you were like a random just like human or whatever, and you're just with like these like machinery. And you're just firing off just bolt guns. I'm gonna be completely honest with you, bro. I thought you were just wasting your time. I thought you were just waiting for the inevitable. Because obviously, if it was me, you know, I got that flamethrower. Because you know, my boy Vulcan gave it to me. You know, and now I'm just spraying stuff down, just lighting everything on fire. But like, bro, those bolt guns, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I just didn't think like what would you even like do with them if that's the case?
And magazine rounds, as well as being overall more reliable than the Crusade or Heresy era patterns. Similar vibe with plasma guns and melter guns. Modern variants are less prone to fatal overheating. The new generation of Redemptor Dreadnoughts are also superior to the older, smaller, boxier pattern. However, I will admit that the Heresy and Crusade era contempted Dreadnoughts that can no longer be manufactured, remain the supreme Dreadnought pattern. However, there are barely any of them left. So looking at the comparison of physical attributes, training, key characters, and war gear, it's clear that the modern day Space Marines are superior to the Marines of the Great Crusade and Horus Heresy, even without the addition of the Primaris. When Azrael and Khorne fought, Azrael was actually winning and only withdrew because Khorne's Khorne hacks were getting too overpowered. There is a reason why modern Space Marine chapters have been able to hold off the traitor legions. Well, I mean, there's like 100 reasons, but a big one is that overall they are superior. But this result isn't unexpected. War and warriors will always get more and more effective. What used to take an entire Space Marine legion now only requires a single Space Marine chapter. In saying this though, it isn't a romper stomp at all. Given the same war gear, the modern Marines would only have a small edge over their ancient counterparts. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the
shout out to Majorkill, man. But before we end off the video, man, I want to show you guys some support from my Twitch channel. Shout out to Nudzy TV 430 for following 5 days ago. Shout out to DB0708 for following 5 days ago. Shout out to Deshaun Ball for following 4 days ago. And finally, shout out to the main man, Row Your Boat 1336 for following 18 hours ago. From now on, every Twitch follower will be getting shout out on my YouTube channel. So if you do follow me on my Twitch, expect a shout out in every single video. I'm not playing. I'm not joking. I will be checking the follow list every single day before, like, you know, every video, just to show you guys, you know, you know, there's people following or whatever. And if you do follow, I will, you know, shout your name out in front of the people. Did I forget anybody? I don't think I forgot anybody. Oh, one more. Shout out to Late Skate for following 17 days ago. Shout out to you, brother. And listen, again, if you want your name to be shout out, your Twitch name to be shout out, man, follow the Twitch right now. I will be notified and I will know, okay? Because I'm going to read these off every single video. So make sure you guys follow my Twitch absolutely right now. Other than that, man, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and peace out.